Today, we have the webinar connected with the new features of JSM Cloud and everything which affects the customers. We are Divinity, we are Atlassian Platinum Marketplace partner, both solution partner, also the Platinum one. The company has more than 20 years already, 8 years in the ecosystem. For the second time in a row, we are ITSM specialized partner, and ITSM is one of the areas we are focusing on. My name is Katarzyna Dorożurkowska. I'm head of Atlassian Services and Divinity, around 15 years in the ecosystem already. With me, two of my colleagues. So, guys.
Hello, everyone. My name is Adam Stępień, and currently I have a position of the team leader at the Atlassian Consultants team at the Divinity. And professionally, I'm an Atlassian solution designer. I specialize in ITSM solutions as well. And on a daily basis, I help organizations and companies in delivering those solutions and managing the services around Atlassian in Divinity.
Hello everyone, my name is Sebastian. I'm working as Atlassian consultant at Divinity together with Adam. I'm mostly specialized in ITSM area. On a daily basis, I work closely with the clients to translate their requirements to configuration within Jira Service Management, Confluence, and other Atlassian applications.
Okay, so I believe with that brief introduction, we can go into the main content of today's webinar. So as for the plan of today's session, we would like you to go with us through the changes that the Atlassian is implementing regarding the pricing and the features of the product of the Jira Service Management. We would like to discuss how does it affect the perspective from the Atlassian solution partners, but also we would like to discuss how does it affect the customers, current customer bases, as well as the existing ones, and how it would affect the upcoming customers, so the people who would like to invest into this area. And at the end of this meeting, we would like you to have this knowledge so that you can comprehensively ask the questions about the presentation and how it's going to be, of course, how you can prepare, mitigate, and strategize towards it. So one thing that I'd like to mention, I would very much eager you to stay till the end of this webinar, because we would like to tell you a little bit about the bonus that we would like to offer you at the very end. So starting with a little bit of the definition, as for the Jira Service Management tool, from this perspective of its usability, the main area that it covers is regarding around managing IT services, because it's a tool for this type of the services as well. But recently, especially with the current investments that Atlassian is doing around this, it's also a tool very well designed to deliver the enterprise level services and incorporate the collaboration between IT departments, operation departments, business teams. And it also offers you a comprehensive features to manage your incident, problem, change management, as well as working with the assets and automating the processes that involves those components.
It is worth noting that Jira Service Management Cloud fully supports recent version of ITIL practices, enabling organization to align their service management processes with industry standards.
And what is important, as of October 16 of 2024, Atlassian has implemented very significant updates for the Jira Service Management pricing. That includes the packaging of features, and the overall pricing of the product in order to keep up with its innovations and industry standards that are being available worldwide. So as for the overall pricing, the reason behind those changes is mostly behind the fact that it is one of the most invested products on the Atlassian behalf. They delivered quite a lot of features that greatly enhanced implementation of the ITSM and ASM features within this area, as well as the collaboration with other Atlassian tools within its ecosystem. And it also was created due to the fact that taking a look at the market alignment and how does the competitors market and the current market changes, it's also going to reflect the amount of work that has been put in this particular tool. The main change when it comes to the consumption base, to the pricing overall, it also means that they implemented the consumption-based pricing. They are quite a few of them when it comes to that, and we'll be discussing them in more detail later into the webinar. At this stage, what I'd like you to know is that they are going to affect the virtual agents configuration, what it can do and how it's going to be used across the organization, as well as the assets module and the amount of them that can be incorporated, that they are going to be incorporated within the tool itself. When it comes to the numbers, there are of course changes not only for the Jira Service Management tool in and out. All of the Atlassian products are going changed. Jira and Confluence and Obsidian and Bitbucket as well. What is important for this current presentation is the overall increase in price increased around 8% for 1 to 250 users and around 30% for 250 users plus. So this is the overall pricing change for buying the product in this area. And as for the consumption-based pricing, those changes have been made towards, as I mentioned before, mostly on virtual service agents and the assets, and they were done in order to meet the expectations of the organization when it comes to the scalability of those features and how are they used across the organization.
Let's start from Virtual Service Agent. It's an AI-powered feature that automates responses to the customer requests by providing instant, relevant answers based on the knowledge-based content. It helps reduce workload on the support teams by handling routine queries and boosting response times. However, it's important to remember that this feature is available only in premium and enterprise plans, with limitations such as a cap on the number of AI responses. The monthly limit is 1,000 of AI responses. Each response above this limit will cost additionally 30 cents. By experience, it's very rare, even for enterprise customers, to breach this limit based on current features which are available for the service agents.
And as for the assets, just a quick recap, the assets basically are a separate module, also available for the JSM Premium Plus plans. And what is important is the fact that they can be used across all of the different processes of the organization. It's not only about the storage of the CMDB databases, but it's also about the configuration of the resources within the organization, such as the different hardware, servers, people, contracts, and many more. And as for the change that's affected when it comes to this consumption-based pricing, is the fact that you are only going to be charged for going above a certain limit. And the current limit for this is 50,000 assets. Those are for free. And after this, when you go above this limit, you're only going to pay 5 cents more per each one of those assets per month. Which means, for example, if you have 2,000 additional objects within your organization above this limits of 50,000, 52,000, then you are only going to pay $100 monthly more for all of those, which translates roughly to $1,200 per year. This is also important to mention that this pricing of those assets, it includes all of schemes across your site, but except those system schemas. So you need to take into consideration the fact that out of the box assets such as services, products, entitlements, they are not charged for this calculation. The only ones that are going to be charged are the ones that you are consequently using, that are being your own, that are not coming directly from Atlassian. And based on our experience as well as it comes to the virtual agents, for some of our customers, it's very rare that you are going to go overboard this 50,000 limit when it comes to that. And even then, there are some ways to mitigate that problem, which we are going to discuss a bit further. As for the differences between different plans, because it's also very important change when it comes to the feature-wise, mostly changes are revolving around one of the most important processes within the Jira, such as incident management, change management, problem management. Of course, as all of you probably know, the premium features are still available. That's not going to change. So things like, for example, Atlassian Intelligence Access or the asset module, they are still there. But there are some changes when it comes to managing your incidents, especially when it comes to categorizations of optimizing the work around this. So essentially, When it comes to incident management on your free and standard plans, you're still going to be able to generate incident categories, work on alerts, and work on on-call schedules. But if you would like to go for conference calls and chat tools, working on the major incident and working with the post-incident reviews, those are the features only available for the premium version of the application. And as for the change management and problem management, there are none of the dedicated features available for that on the free and standard plans. As for the premium and the enterprise, there are going to be there are incorporated way more additional modules, such as, for example, change categories, queues or calendars, risk assessments, integrations with CI/CD tools, or the same goes for the work categories and queues for the problems that are being dedicated for this type of the processes.
As an Atlassian solution partner, we are always happy to share our knowledge and assist our clients in preparing solutions tailored to their needs based on Atlassian stack. Our goal is to work collaboratively, offering expertise and guidance to help optimize processes and achieve effective outcomes for the customers.
So when we take a look at this from the perspective of the solution part, of course, what is important to know additionally is that we need to be way more, it needs to be way more considered about building up the solutions that's going to fill out the gap between the missing features, for example. But what is more important is even the perspective of the people who are currently working on the tool. Since you are an existing customer, the thing is there are going to be many changes for you that are going to be affected because you might already generate some processes and work on them with the current setup of your available features. For example, when you were already used to advanced incident problem or change management features that have been removed from pre-plans to the premium, those are going to be affected. And of course, that also means that if you like to keep using them, you would need to upgrade and change your plan. So what is in this case important? You need to think about this in this area that some of those stuff is changed, and we are going to talk about a little how you should consider working on them.
We should start with evaluate plan options. It means review the features and costs of the premium enterprise plans to determine which best aligns with your operational requirements. Then take a look on the long-term needs, assess your organization feature grow, and evaluate whether the advanced feature will provide value over time. Once we establish that, we should focus on optimizing the current usage. It means monitor your usage of assets, virtual agents, to ensure you remain within the free limits, which was mentioned earlier by Adam.
And
Go ahead.
okay, so and then after you assess those things that Sebastian just mentioned, the very important thing is planning your budget accordingly. Because when you take a look at the pricing changes, there are a significant price increase when you go from the standard to the premium product as well. So it's going to affect your budgeting plans a lot, especially when you take a look not only about the consumption-based pricing, or when you take a look at the assets and the virtual agents, but especially when you take a look at the fact that, for example, you might have other users at your instance that you would like to incorporate within the process, that you would like to add for the next year because your business scale. And in this area, you need to think about how much it's going to cost and calculate it accordingly. Of course, in order to do that, as it was previously mentioned by my colleague, it is very important to take a look at your features that are being currently used and evaluate if they are worth the upgrade for you. As for the upcoming customer perspective, because one thing is when you have this particular tool and when you are working on it, this is something that you need to consider. You have already tools that can allow you to assess what do you currently have, right? When you have an existing instance, existing configurations, there are certain modules or the parameters within the system that can be used for the purposes of using the assets or virtual agents in your organization or the automation limitation, anything like that. You have that tools. When you are the upcoming customer, you only evaluate whether or not the tool is great for you. You have a little bit more of a leverage when it comes to managing those features. You can take a look at something that has been already implemented, and it's very important and essential for you to understand how those pricing are changed if you are already in the process of evaluating the current pricing. and how it's going to be changed in the future as well. But you need to align this with your decision about investing into this tool or investing into other products as well.
The step from upcoming customer and already in the step of new customer considering the implementation of Jira Service Management Cloud is essential to start by identifying your key functional requirements to select most suitable plan for you. Next, consider scalability and potential growth of the data within assets to ensure the chosen plan meets your future needs. Finally, define a clear vision and roadmap for the solution, balancing costs and functionalities to align with your organization goals.
And what is important as a final message for both existing and upcoming customers, it is important to know that everybody is really aware that this is a lot of steps, a lot of things to be considered along the way. So if you are having resources to do so, that's perfectly fine. You can always do that. And because there are tools, there are calculators, roadmap is perfectly available. And all of the potential customers or the potential users of this particular solutions can work with them efficiently and decide on their own what should be the approach in that. If not, it's always a possibility to go for the guidance, to find a solution partner or someone who is going to help you with the process, do some activities that can easily make it that's going to make more clear for you whether or not to decide and what are going to be upcoming changes for you when it comes to budgeting and prices as well. To conclude, when it comes to those changes, they were made in order to be aligned with the market standards and to align with the investments that were made towards the Jira Service Management product when it comes to all of the available features and for the upcoming plans for them. And they were designed in order to promote scalability and alignment with the standards that are being met across the industry. And if we are able to estimate and approach the pricing accordingly, whether or not our features that we are currently using are worth enough for our business to upgrade to the premium plan, or our scalability and the planned features and things that we are expecting from this type of the system are going to be aligned within the product, then we are able to efficiently say that this service management solution, they are cost effective and future ready enough for us to justify the increase in the pricing and see efficiency and the improved process management in other areas within our company.
As we are heading to the end of the content we prepared for today, I would recommend you to put the question if you have one for us. We will try to answer all of them. But Adam mentioned already is connected with something we want to give you and no matter if you are a current JSM customer or if you are just planning to implement it, but if you have a question, then we will offer 2 hours of free consultation done by ITSM experts for everyone who wants to use it after the webinar. Of course, for those who were registered, not for everyone in the world. Really important information about it, that this is not a sales meeting. It's rather technical meeting with the people who are ITSM consultants. So if any one of you is interested in that, please just let me know. You can find my email here. And also one important thing at the end, we are creating the Knowledge Hub where we are putting all the information or all the around the webinars we are doing. So this is the third from the series we already have. And you will find all the information and all the materials we created after. So please expect to get the invitation to our Knowledge Hub after the webinar. So right now there is a time for the question, and I will be reading them and the guys will be answering. So the first one I see is, if we are over 50,000 assets object prior to October, when we will start being charged for any overage? There should be a grace period for that.
Yes, like to confirm that, yes, there's going to be a grace period for that, and depending on the amount of the asset that you have, and depending, of course, on the time when you started using it, and if you've been using those features beforehand, you are going to be able to be granted by the grace period. It just requires a contact with the management representative on that area, and you can request the exact longevity. And it is important to extend this question. It also covers additional features that are being moved from the standard plan to the premium. So if you were essentially using it before these changes, you can be granted a grace period for the upgrade or for the time to consider those changes as well.
Is the grace period always the same, or this is something which you can negotiate? Do you know?
It can be negotiated. Like there's like a baseline, but it all depends on the customer and their current business case scenario.
Okay, the second question. Currently, the virtual agent can be enabled on the JSM project by anyone with project admin role. And I raised a suggestion to get more control. How are other customers handling it now?
I don't believe you might be very thrilled by that answer, unfortunately, because there's, as you mentioned, and as the suggestion process, I know it fortunately or not, because I've encountered it before, and thank you for that, actually. Because the thing is, when it comes to this restriction, most of the customers are trying to manage the culture in the company culture and the way they have the procedures. You cannot restrict that and do it in any shape or form natively, the very least, to control that. So the same as goes with the policy of not, for example, generating your Trello accounts, to not them being counted for example, Atlassian Guard licenses. The same goes for that. Most of the customers try to have these internal policies when they have generated the FHQ or the steps that how do you work with the Atlassian tools. And with those hubs, they are essentially using it. For example, on the cloud, when you have this Confluence Company Hub, which is like some of the recent features, there is like one common place when they are being forwarded to, and they have this strict information that about for example, creating a account for the Trello or enabling those virtual agents is a policy that shouldn't be done lightly and should be managed by the teams internally.
Okay, as there are no more questions and I don't see that anyone is still writing, then you can still find the contact details for us on the slide. And if nothing will land, then we can say thank you for joining our webinar.